kids, thank you for purchasing your Boredom Buster bag. In this video, I'm going to be walking you through how to make these 2 space wreaths. So I'll be walking through step by step, and I'm going to remind you that this is a video. So if I'm going too fast and you want to follow along, you can just hit pause, you can fast forward, you can rewind, you can rewatch it. So don't stress out if I'm going a little too fast and you're behind. Just pause it. So let's get started. Okay, so we're gonna walk through making our space wreaths. You will end up with 2 finished ones. I already have 1 done, so I'm gonna show you how to do it, and you'll just repeat that step with the second one. It's the same thing for both, just placement of the stickers and the star might be a little different, but when we get there, I'll explain that. I'm just gonna move this one off to the side. So we're gonna start with our circle foam, and we're gonna take our ball of string, our yarn, and it's very soft and fluffy, but it is important that we keep it in a ball like this. If we get it undone, it'll get tangled and it will become harder to do. So we're gonna try our best to keep it in a ball. I'm just gonna take the cap off my glue for this first step, and I'm going to just, on my foam, I'm gonna put a little glue just like that to start. It's not very much, just kind of a little dab on there. And I'm gonna take one end of my yarn and I'm just gonna put it right on there, and I'm just gonna let it sit for a minute to dry a little before I start wrapping. So out of your tool bag, you're gonna need your orange handled brush and your red handled paintbrush, and you're gonna need the paint that has the silver, the sparkly gold, and the sparkly blue out of your tool bag. You can see that we also have a star, and we have a sheet of planet stickers. Some of mine are gone because I put it on the other one. And then you'll notice you'll have like a pop can tab. I like to use things that are kind of unconventional for crafting. I like to recycle and reuse. So we're gonna use this as a hook on the back, but I'll show you that when we get there. Okay, so I glued the one part of the yarn there. And then I'm gonna stick my ball through. And this is why it is important to keep it in a ball, because I'm just gonna keep winding it. And you can see that I've already messed my ball up, but that is okay. Just kind of squeeze it together and around. Squeeze it together and around. And we're just gonna do this all the way through until we get to the end. I'm just going to remind you that this is a video, so if you need to pause, you can. And you see, I've already messed mine up. So what I'm going to do is get to the end, roll it back up without creating too much of a knot, so it's easier to do. I said make sure we keep it in a ball, and what do? I mess it up right at the beginning, but that is okay. That is what crafting sometimes does. Can always make it work and fix it. Okay, so once I'm at the end, to rewrap it, I'm just gonna wrap it around my fingers. Not too tight, because we definitely want to get it off at the end. But by doing this, it's definitely a lot easier to keep wrapping around the wreath. Okay, now that I got it towards the end, I'm just gonna take it off my finger. I'm gonna keep wrapping. I am pulling it a little tight after I got a few wraps around and making sure that it is very close together. You don't want to see the white foam under it. And then our next step is going to be painting our star. And like I said, we have this silver, sparkly gold, and sparkly blue with a little bit of purple in there. Whoops. But you can see how I did it on this one. So I painted the whole thing silver, and then I added some gold and some blue. You can paint this however you want, but I'm gonna paint my second one just like this one, and I'll show you how I did that. I start with my red handled brush, the big one, and I'm gonna dip in the silver. And then I'm just gonna paint this whole thing, front and back. Make sure to get it kind of all on there, and the sides. You don't necessarily have to do the back, but definitely the sides. I am touching the wet paint. I don't mind paint on my fingers, but if you don't like paint on your fingers, you can wait for it to dry before doing the sides. If you need to do it in steps, go ahead. If you need to let it dry in between, you can do that too. I don't mind getting a little messy, so I don't mind grabbing it when it's a little bit wet. I'm kind of just going back in there to cover up my fingerprints a little bit. And then it is important to put your brush in a cup of water to wash the brushes, because we'll be using these brushes throughout the different crafts. I'm gonna wash my brushes at the end. I'm gonna just let that dry a little bit before I go on to the next color, which I'm going to do this gold. It's just kind of sparkly, and for this and the blue I'm going to be using this orange handled brush. I'm just kind of going to dip it in here. I'm just kind of going to dab. This paint, you can go like this, and you can see how it kind of spreads it out. Bring it up closer. But if I dab it, you get more of that gold. So it all depends on how you want to do it. We can brush it out, or we can dab it on. I'm just going to do this until I'm happy with it. And I kind of like that. And then I would wash this brush because I'll be using it for the blue. I just kind of brushed mine off. I'm not too worried about getting a little bit gold in my star. But as you can see on this one, I just kind of put the blue on this raised part of the star. So on this part here, you don't have to do the same thing. Feel free to do it how you like. I'm just gonna do it this way for the video. And this is definitely one where it's easier to kind of tap it on than brush it on. And I just start with the star points. And just tap it all the way down to where I want it to end. And then I'm just going to keep kind of doing that same tapping technique on the sides of the raised part. And I love how there's a little bit of purple in this blue sparkly paint. Makes it pop a little bit. And like I said, this is just how I did it, but these are your crafts, so feel free to do it however you want to do it. Just add a little bit more up in there, but I kind of like it. And then once again, I'm gonna wash my paintbrush at the end, but if you had a cup of water with you, you could stick your paintbrushes right in the cup of water, because like I said, you'll be using those throughout. And so you can see on this one that I put my shooting star down there with some planets. So, you know, you can have them like this when you hang them, or you can have them like this, or you can have them like this, however you want. I think for here I'm going to make mine a little different. I might put the star like that. So I'm going to take my glue. And you can wait a few minutes for it to dry before gluing it on, but for the video I'm just going to do it while it's a little bit wet. I'm going to put some glue there. I'm going to put some glue there. Because this one isn't hanging off, I put glue down there. But you'll notice on my first one I have this part hanging off, so I didn't put glue there. I only put the glue on the star part. And if you want to make both your wreaths look the same, you can, or you can make them look a little different like mine. And then now I'm gonna go and be like, ooh, what planets do I want? I have Saturn, and then the Earth and the Moon on that one. So maybe on this one, I believe this one's Jupiter. Maybe I'll put it up here like, and these are stickers, so you just have to stick them on. You pick whatever ones you like the best. We'll go the red planet next. And I really like this blue color. If you want to do 3, you can do 3. If you want to do more, you can do more. And then there's these little stars that I might just put on this side. Just like that. So then I have a set of 2. I can have it like that, we can have it like that, I can have it like that, however you want. And then I'll show you on this one because it's drier. I said we have these little pop can tabs, and we're gonna use them to be a hook. You can notice that they're slightly bent because I'm gonna glue it on the back here, just enough so, and I'm gonna move it down so you can't really see it from the front, but then you have your nail, it'll go in there slightly raised. So you have to kind of find, so that's gonna be how I want it, so then I'm gonna make it so it's like that. So when it's hung up, it's like that. So what I'm gonna do is put a little bit of glue on my tab here. And your pop can tab might not be green like this one. You're not going to see it once it's hung up, so it doesn't matter what color it is. Kind of just depend on what we have. So I'm just gluing it to the back. It will take a little bit to dry for that glue, but then you'll be able to hang it. And you'll do the same thing for both. So then I have 2 space wreaths. Just have it like that, sideways, like that. However you want. Hope you enjoyed this one. Thank you for joining me.